What's going on, Chill Fam? Today we're going to be talking about if a 1000cc motorcycle is a good option for a beginner to start on. The thing about leader bikes is that they are very, very, very dangerous. All motorcycles are dangerous. I mean, you can die on a 50cc moped. I mean, these things are literally no joke. But when you get to a leader bike, especially as your first bike, it's a little bit more dangerous because there's a lot of skills that you need to have already improved on before you can even think about getting on something like this. For a 15-year-old motorcycle, this bike has almost 160 horsepower, not even being flashed. And if you think of the power to rate ratio from this to a Corvette, this would smoke it. You know what I mean? And another thing to keep in mind is that these motorcycles are not forgiving compared to a 400 or even a 250 or a 300. These bikes, you make one mistake on, it could be lethal compared to making that same mistake on a smaller displacement bike. That's what a lot of people don't keep in mind. Now, I'm sure a lot of you may be thinking, well, I could just buy a leader bike and that way I don't have to keep selling motorcycles just to move up. But it's highly worth it to do that, and that's actually how I did it. Just to give you a little background about me, I've been riding motorcycles for the past 4 years now, and I've recently just got this bike a couple weeks back. I started at a Z400 Kawasaki, then I went up to a 600cc ZX6R, then the 636 version, Gixxer 750, and then I went to the CBR 1000. It was very gradual for me. Now I can ride this motorcycle like it's nothing. Like, I can max out on this bike because all the years of experience that I gained. I didn't just go and buy this bike. When I had first got my Z400 from the dealership, I was terrified riding that bike. I couldn't even lean it over. Just imagine how, if I would have started on this, it just would have been absolutely ridiculous. It just, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Can you start on a leader bike? Of course you can. But it doesn't mean that you should. And your chances of doing so successfully are very minimum, especially if no one is teaching you the right techniques, if that makes sense. So one thing I want to do is just hop on the bike, take it for a little spin around this abandoned parking lot, and just to give you a quick little understanding on riding something like this compared to a smaller bike. We all love that sound. Goodness. And one thing I wanted to do was just to give you guys an idea. You can see the twitchiness of this bike for me barely giving it any throttle. You do the same thing on a smaller bike, you can twist it a whole lot more and you're not going to wheelie and loop the damn bike. Let's go ahead and put her in first gear just to give you an idea of what I mean. So watch this. See that? She just wants to lift the entire time. And for somebody who is new to riding, you're not even going to know what to do to stop that. Like, you may let off the gas, twist it a little bit more, and go right into that curve. That's what people don't understand about these. Like, she just wants to wheelie non-stop. I mean, leader bikes are terrifying for that reason. Now again, can it be done? Can you learn on a leader bike? Absolutely, you can, but you're going to need a ton of instruction before you can even think about doing that. Most people will get these bikes and don't even have somebody properly go through all the gears, proper riding techniques, how much clutch you need to give, the bike point. I mean, nobody goes over that. A lot of times you just get a bike, get out there, and try to figure it out your damn self, and there's a lot of things that you should not do yourself. That's how I'm going to put it. You need to do these things with somebody. You need to do these things with an instructor, someone who's been riding, somebody who knows a thing or two. And another reason why you're going to start on a smaller displacement bike, it'll be a lot easier leaning a smaller displacement bike. You'll feel more comfortable because it's smaller, nimble, obviously. The power on these things are just, they're ridiculous. And so when you're new, you're not going to know to shorten your arm, lean into your turn while your head is looking into the turn that you want to lean in. You're not going to know these things. You don't know that you have to push down on the handlebars for your bike to go in the direction that you want it to. And because you don't know a lot of those basic steps when learning how to ride, that's what makes a lot of these leader bikes lethal to new riders. You got to know how to control your bike. It's not the same as riding a bicycle. You have an engine that is capable of going 200 miles per hour under you, under your fragile body. And a lot of new riders don't even start with gear. They may just have a helmet, and you go and crash your bike, and you wonder how you're all effed up and mangled. And I hate that I have to say it that way, but that's how dangerous these things really are. The amount of motorcycle deaths per state is astonishing. Astonishing. And you better believe a huge amount of those are because of rider error. You don't even have to necessarily be a new rider. You could have been riding for years. But that's to give you an idea on how easy it is to make mistakes on this, even when you've been riding for a long time. There's a lot of things out of your control, but most accidents are from the rider. And it's hard to express this on a camera, because I'm sure on the camera everything looks so smooth and chill. When you're actually on a bike in person, it is nothing like you see on a camera, especially if you're new. And you can probably see on a leader bike, I'm barely giving it any gas while going in the direction I want to go. Being new to riding, a lot of time people don't know that you need to use the clutch and your gas hand in hand at the same time, while also being ready to use your foot to go through your gears. What makes you think you're capable of learning on a 1000cc motorcycle? Look how I'm barely giving it throttle. I'm barely touching it. I'm barely touching it. You don't even see my hand twisting right now. Barely. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. I mean, she just wants to wheelie non-stop. I spent that back tire. That was fun. I need new tires. And I did that part on purpose, just so you know, because I'm going to show you how to counter steer right here. Most people don't even know how to do a U-turn on your motorcycle. You wouldn't know how to do that first riding. Also, being new to riding, you're not understanding the controls as well, like I mentioned. See how I'm using the lever and the throttle to ride. And did you know that most new riders don't even know that motorcycles are manual? Ain't that something? Your parents are telling you, hey, I don't know if I feel comfortable when you're riding a bike. They have a lot of good reason to feel that way. My mom didn't even want me riding a moped. And on this leader bike right here, right now, right, for example, I'm going 52 miles per hour and I'm in second gear. This bike can go all the way up to 90 miles per hour in first gear. Look how much I have to go before I even hit the rev limiter. If you can go first gear going 90 miles per hour, and this bike has 6 gears, that gives you an idea on how fast these bikes are, man. It's not a joke. I mean, seriously, you can't make this up. Look how easy I'm going around these corners. As a new rider, you're not going to know how to do that. And you may give it too much gas, loop this bike, do a wheelie, go right into the grass. I mean, you just got to think about this stuff, man. Seriously. These bikes shouldn't even be on the street, man. They shouldn't even be legal how fast these damn motorcycles are. And how many new riders have the balls to even get on one. Everybody learns different, but again, I waited 4 years to even think about doing this. So ultimately, guys, should you start on a 1000cc motorcycle? I don't think you should. My answer is going to be a hard no on that. This is talking from experience, from life, from what I've seen. Mistakes I've made on smaller mistakes I've made on smaller displacement bikes that had I made on this, I would have had a really messed up day. It's just not a good idea. It's not smart. But key, there's plenty of people who have, and they don't regret it. Hey, to each his own. This is just my opinion. This video is just to help bridge the gap for people who are really undecided. Get that smaller displacement bike, ride the hell out of it, learn as much as you can, upgrade to a 600 or a 750, and then go ahead and upgrade to the 1000 later on. You won't regret it. Like right now, even after all the money I spent on different bikes, I don't regret it. I'm happy I did. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. And for the experienced riders, please drop in the comments some advice. Hell, even advice for me on this bike, since this is my first leader bike. I'm still learning with you guys. Right now, I just literally showed you some things that I've learned. But there's still so much to learn. I still got some track days I need to take. Take that MSF course on the smaller bikes. I ain't perfect by any means. But I just hope this helps stop a lot of riders from dying, man, while making mistakes on these bikes, you know? That's literally my whole goal for this channel. Just make the world a better place for the rider community in any way I can. You get to a point where you have to ask yourself, how do I stop taking, and how do I contribute? How do I contribute to society, man? How can I help in any way I can? You'll get 10 times more later on. Period. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.